Hey, Xiomy here. So today I wanted to do the BookTube made me read it, love it, or hate it kind of thing. That's I think I'm gonna call it, just because a lot of the books that I have read are influenced by a lot of booktubers, especially since I got into this. BookTube has been a lot in my life, and my TBR has been growing, and it's also deviated me from the genre that I really like to read. 'Cause I start from the beginning. I used to read mystery, then I started contemporary when I was when I was a young adult, and then I deviated towards high fantasy and dystopian. But then when I got into BookTube, I deviated from all these books that I read, and I have stumbled upon books that I thought I would never read, and I've actually loved. So that's why I really wanted to do this. But I'm gonna mention the books that are mostly hyped, or books that I have found through BookTube that I really have enjoyed, and some of these books are now getting a lot of talk on BookTube. So let's get into these books. The first one that I'm gonna mention is one that I found because of Sasha from A Book Utopia, and I think her video was like 5 books that will change your world, or 5 books that are mind-blowing, something along those lines. And the book that I'm mentioning is The Kiss of Deception. Now, I had read the synopsis for this book and I was like, it does intrigue me, but I didn't know if I wanted to pick it up. But then I heard Sasha speaking about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pick this book up. And I fell in love with this book. And it's funny how now I see a lot of people speaking about this book on BookTube, and it is a book that's been very beautiful and lovely done. And again, like I've mentioned like a million times, you do have your regular trope where a female or a princess does escape from her betrothed marriage. But the funny thing about it, or the wonderful thing about it, is that 2 people are after her. One, the prince that she left at the altar, and the other is the assassin that was sent to kill her. And it is like a mind game, because you do have a love triangle, but it's also a mind game to figure out who's the assassin and who's the prince. And it's just told very beautifully, and I love the writing, and it was just a story that really made me fall in love with it. And I can't stop talking about it. I can't stop talking about this book because I just love the story, and everything that it did entail was just very wonderfully played out. Next books that I'm going to mention I read because of the hype, but I'm only going to show you one because there's 5 books and I don't want to get them out of my bookshelf because my bookshelf is already empty as it is right now. But the book that I'm mentioning is the Lunar Chronicles, Cinder. I'm going to be very perfectly honest. I didn't like Cinder. I didn't connect with the character. The only thing I really connected with was in chapter 4 when they started speaking about the Lunars. This is when actually my curiosity sparked, and I wanted to know more about them, so I continued reading. This book really wasn't mind-blowing. It was just very predictable. It isn't when I started reading and continuing, because I did continue the series. I was like, you know what? Let me continue the series to see what all the fuss is about, and I'm glad. I am so glad that I stuck with it, because even though I didn't like Cinder, I loved Scarlet. And it's funny because a lot of people don't like Scarlet, but I loved Scarlet, and this is where I connected even more with Cinder. And I loved the introduction of Thorn and Wolf, and Scarlet was just such a badass to me that I really did enjoy her character so much. It is one series that it's dear to my heart, and I'm gonna say that it goes down in my top 5 all-time favorite book series. The next book that I'm gonna mention is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I picked this up because of the hype and because it was gonna be a movie. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. To me, this really didn't have that much originality to it. To me, it was like this author took all the dystopian, post-apocalyptic scenarios, movies, TV shows, everything. He just threw it in a pot, jumbled it around and be like, okay, now I'm going to create my own. Cassidy really did annoy me. And if it wasn't for Sam, I loved Sam. I thought that he was such a brave boy for everything that he went through. And Ringer, I really did love Ringer. I mean, I want to know, why is it that she doesn't laugh? Because something really did have to happen in her life to traumatize her so much that she doesn't even want to laugh anymore. It's like she lost her will to laugh, and I really want to know what that entails. And I haven't read the 2nd or the 3rd book, so maybe that obviously will be answered there. But I haven't had the enthusiasm to continue this series. I am going to continue it because I do want to finish it before the end of the year. The next book that I'm going to mention also I picked up because of the hype, and that is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I loved Throne of Glass. I enjoyed it, and I loved it. Crown of Midnight was okay. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of things that were happening that really, some of them really did tick me off. And to me, honestly, Crown of Midnight is more of a drama/romance kind of book. And really until the near end is when things start to pick up pace. But the Assassin's Blade got on my nerves. I hated it. Because how many times can you read, oh, that was a careless mistake. Oh, that was a careless mistake. Oh, that was another careless mistake. It just got on the brink of annoying. And Air of Fire just completely ticked me off. And it wasn't because there were introductions of new characters or because my ship had sank. It wasn't because of any of that. It was just so freaking annoying that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop there because I can have a 4-hour video just on this series alone. But am I gonna continue it? I am gonna continue it because I want to know where does it lead to. The next book that I'm gonna mention is one that I would never have picked up, but I just picked it up because of the biennial bibliothon, and it was the books group, and I really wanted to read it, and it had dogs on the cover, and that is The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. And I am so friggin' glad that I participated in the biannual bibliothon because I loved this book. It was so beautiful and I loved everything that it entailed, and it has dogs in it. What are you not gonna love about dogs? But it also had a beautiful father figure, and it also had a bond between a father-daughter that was rekindled, can I say, or restored, because it was just so beautiful, everything that was playing out. And I really did love this book because of that, because I love my father and I love positive father figures, and you have a father figure that's present in YA literature, especially in this one, instead of always being in the background. She does learn that it's inevitable for things to change in her life, and she has to accept it. There is one thing near towards the end about her friends, her group of friends, that really did like make me sad, but again, it's something that really does happen in real life, so I am grateful for it. But this book has summer vibes and it does have a beautiful story. The next books that I'm going to mention are the Fallen Kingdom series. I've also picked these books up because of Sasha from A Book Utopia. She's basically the only one that I really heard speaking about these books, and even though the main characters do annoy me a bit because sometimes they are shallow and it's like, oh, why is this happening to me? Oh, why is this happening to me? I'm like, because it's life. Things happen. That's life. You know, you got to deal with it. A lot of points of views are being thrown out in these books. The second one was okay. It was a bit slow. It has a lot more political intrigue than anything else, but the ending really did like redeem it for me because it was very fast paced and a lot of things really did happen. But I've stopped in the second book. I haven't continued. But again, I really kind of enjoy this series, but there are some things that are, you know, it's like they were thrown in just like to fill the space or like to have a diversity in characters, and it's something that I was like, you know what, just set it up. First, like, set it up, and then when you deliver the punch, people are going to be like, okay, instead of like, oh my god, I got a black eye, you know. So it's something that it is a little bit annoying, but again, I really do want to continue the series because I want to know where does it lead to. The next book that I'm going to mention is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabata Here, and I'm so freaking glad that I read this book because this book has exquisite writing. It has sad plot twists and turns, but you have character development that's so beautiful. You have these two characters from opposite ends, and it's basically like they're merged together. And I honestly say that do not lead by the hype of this book and as to how much it has been praised. This book is lovely, the story is exquisite, and it's just so beautiful the way it's told that you want to cry, and there aren't basically moments when you want to laugh, but there are those little bits moments that you do like laugh a little bit. And the path that they choose is something that's remarkable because I really did enjoy the story. I'm so glad that I picked it up, and I will recommend it to anybody. The next book that I'm going to mention is one that I thought that I would never read because it's sci-fi and it is a genre that I don't deviate towards. I mean, I bought an Ender's Game. It's still there waiting for me to read it, but I was like, no, let me pick it up, and that was Illuminated by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I thought that I wasn't going to like this book, but I was so wrong. I love it when books tell me, you're wrong, haha, you like me, now you gotta continue talking about me because you like me. That's what I love about books. I love when a book proves me wrong. I love the way this book is told because it's told through military files, through surveillance footages, through dossiers, and it's just told in such a marvelous way that I read this book in like a 360 format, and I was like, you know, I've never read a book told in this distinctive format, and it was so lovely, and I loved everything about this book. Okay, first of all, in this book you have a deadly plague that's been unleashed. Second of all, you have an AI that's gone loony. And third of all, did I forget to mention, you have the enemy warship on your tail. What can you not like about this book? The next book that I want to mention I picked up because it was aesthetically pleasing. Now, it's the only reason why I actually picked up this book, because I was like, I want to have a beautiful book on my bookshelf. And then I read it. Oh my god. I never thought I was gonna like a group of criminals as much as I love these. Kaz is a criminal mastermind and I loved him. I enjoyed this story so much, and it was just told so differently, and the backstory was one that I really did enjoy from every character because it immerses you into the mind of these characters, and it's something that I really did enjoy picking up, and I love this book so much, so I would recommend this to anybody. It's sad that this is a duology and Crooked Kingdom is going to come out pretty soon, and I'm just sad. I just don't want anything happen to my peeps because these are my peeps, and I don't want anything happening or anything bad happening to them. I'm gonna be optimistic to the near end. The final book that I'm gonna mention that was influenced by BookTube is Ruby Red. I don't know if in the translation some things were lost from this book, but I didn't like this book. And the only thing that I loved about this book was the time traveling aspects that it has to it. I thought that they were marvelous, that they were ingenious, and everything that was being mentioned was just brilliant. I loved it. About the time traveling aspects, I didn't connect with any of the characters. I didn't like any of the characters. Even the insta love, I hated it. Am I gonna continue reading these books? Yes, because I want to know what is the secret within the secret. That is the only thing that I want to know from this book. Also, what are they gonna do with the chronograph? These are questions that I want answers to, and The only way that I'm gonna get those answers is if I actually read the book. Well, that's it for all the books that BookTube made me read and that I picked up. A lot of them I enjoyed, some were like okay, but for the majority of this fact, I really did enjoy a lot of these books. And that's it. If you have books that have been recommended to you by BookTube, let me know and we'll chit chat down below. Maybe you might tell me books that I might fall in love with. But that's it for my video. I want to thank you for watching, and until next time.